It's Luke Gill with Fall Line Builders. Wanted to do a kind of a deep dive into a lot of the construction we see here in Richmond, Virginia from the 1940s to the 1960s, and that's going to be a true masonry wall. So this is an 8-inch thick wall. We've got comprised of a 4-inch exterior brick, a 4-inch cinder block, and then every couple courses we've got our bricks going front to back as opposed to left to right. They're going to help kind of tie that wall together. So 8 inches of structural masonry all the way down to our footings. And then they would add these furring strips on top of them, add a 3/8, kind of the original drywall. They're about 16-inch strips, almost like lath strips. And then they would do a finished coat of plaster on top of that. There would have been no insulation in these walls. We do have a small R value with the 8-inch thick masonry. Once the space is heated up, it is going to hold it better than an open frame stud wall. But this is pretty typical. You can also see, if you come in here close, that we have had some termite damage in the past. So this furring strip is hollow. You can see the tracks going up. But what's interesting about this construction is there's very minimal wood for them to get to. So this is certainly going to warrant an inspection on the floor joists in our crawl space. But you know, the way this was built, if we have to replace a couple of these furring strips, that's really no big deal. So the termites are getting in, but they're not able to attack the actual structure of the home because it is masonry. This used to be a window. You probably can't see in the video, but I've got a pretty significant ramp here. You know, as they tried to match the two floor heights and missed on that. So we've got, you know, 4 or 5 boards going up, maybe 3 inches. That's something that we can resolve. But you can see here how the bricks are finished on this. And I've actually got a wood header up here. And then down here, they've been saw cut. So the simplest solution when they did this addition, the header and all the structure was in place, they just turned the window into a door. So they just cut right down and then added a door into this new space. And as we walk in here, it becomes very apparent as that camera pans back around. You can see the original brick. You can even see an original steel window. So this is a steel casement window that they just kind of covered over on both sides. I wanted to kind of look at the side-by-side that we have here between the original exterior masonry wall and our frame wall, which was done, let's say 25 years ago, and this is about a 75-year-old wall. Now, we really don't have any noticeable water damage on any of our exterior masonry walls. Think about this as 8 inches thick, so it's going to be very difficult for bulk water to get in. Our windows, if you can kind of see through there, are set back, I'd say 4 to 6 inches inside. So even on gable ends where there's no overhang, the actual window itself is, you know, unless it's a severe wind-driven rain, is not really seeing any water. We've got a brick sill outside. So again, even this spot isn't. But if it did see water and it got in down here, which I'm sure it has at, you know, many junctions over the 75 years, we've got this almost like an interior rain screen where any water that's going to be able to get in, bulk water, could in theory drain down. If it's just moisture, it's going to be able to drain out. That block between the block course and the brick course has a little gap for air to circulate. So even though this assembly may get wet, it's always had the opportunity to dry out. Now, over here, this stud cavity, if it was just 2x4 walls, it would have the opportunity to dry out. But this has no R value, so we add insulation, which is a good thing. Standard fiberglass insulation. Well, let's pull this back, and what you can see here, we've got mouse droppings, we've got spider eggs, we've got mildew. This sheathing here is like a cardboard press board kind of sheathing. I've got mold and mildew on that. I can see a press board, hardboard siding, and I've just got this big chunk where there's no sheathing, and I've got mold there. You can see literal daylight through there. So that means I've got air, and air brings moisture. So this assembly does not have the opportunity to dry out. And we can clearly see that water is getting in, and it's got nowhere to go. It's got nowhere to relieve itself. So that's when we get things like mold, mildew, spaces that are going to be, welcoming to spiders and bugs and all kinds of critters. So again, the new assembly done in kind of a half-assed manner or without attention to detail on the exterior of our waterproofing and our vapor barrier and air barrier can lead to a lot of problems. This assembly, certainly not perfect. We can do a lot better in terms of insulation and air sealing, but it was much more forgiving. This, if you do it wrong, modern building is not forgiving. And that's why we see modern buildings sometimes start to fail and have issues long before these older buildings do. So we're certainly going to have a bunch of frame walls. The entire second floor is going to be framed walls. And this is a bit of a challenge, but one that I absolutely love as a builder of how can we improve this on the entire first floor and ensure that this doesn't happen anywhere in our additions or in our second floor. So stay tuned to future videos and kind of some how-tos on how we accomplish that.